Hi all, really pleased to say I've had quite a few new subscribers and things to the channel recently. Hopefully people subscribe because they want to know what's going on with this PX200 project. So I'm just going to do a little short kind of summary, kind of what am I doing, who am I, what am I up to type video. So we kick off with some really high-tech graphics. What? So this is where I am so far on the car. The what? I've got this model here that's slightly broken. So this is the chassis. Okay. The idea is the car will be a kind of a cross between, I suppose one of the ways I've described it is the bastard child of a Radical, an Ultima and a Atom. So it's going to be mainly Exo. So this is my little model. So chassis be sat in there. Rear engine, car engine. So the engine is going to be a Honda K24 engine, which I have out there in my trailer. Bodywork is going to be fairly minimal. So where we've got all this chassis members here, basically I'm just going to have flat panels between each one with probably the chassis showing and nice small gaps. Yeah, the bit that this is going to be quite different from most Exo cars and more kind of radical-ish is down the sides here I'm going to have side pods that are going to be kind of aero devices, but I also certainly have the radiator quite far forward to try and balance weight on the passenger side. But for those of you into your motorsport history, basically these side pods are going to be heavily influenced by the Lotus 78. So they're going to be flattish on the top, but underneath it's going to be wing shaped to try and get some good aero going on in there. IPX 200. Basically PX is Project Exo and 200 because ideally I want this thing to go 200 miles an hour. I know that is a really long shot. But once upon a time, there's a friend of mine that I used to race motorbikes with called Shelley, and she used to have a saying that she used to live her life by, but that she used to go by, which was the better to try and fail than never to try at all, which always struck me at the time, and I thought that was a really good thing to do. I'd much rather have a bash at this 200 mile an hour thing and it not work than, you know, be 90 and on the way to the cemetery and have to have, I wish I had tried, or I wish I had done this, or I wish. So it's one of these things. I'm going to give it a go. Yes, it's a long shot. Yes, with kind of average-ish aero, it's going to be quite difficult. It's going to need a heck of a lot of power. But of course, to make this really hard, I'm on a really tight budget. Ideally, I want to try and get this on the road for 10k. Now, when I say on the road, that's not going to be trying to do that speed. Oh, the other thing I forgot about the shape of the car and the aero. So we're going to have these side pods down the side. The front end will have bodywork. So it's going to have wings, not like on my Exo Booster or a Caterham thing, cycle wings. It's going to have wings like on a Radical, so they'll be quite good aero, and they're basically going to flow from the wing into the side pod, then rear wheels covered over the back there, and obviously a pointy nose, so we'll have some of the air going down which will go through the radiator or whatever and try and get a fair bit of it over the top. It is going to be totally open, so my kind of thinking is over the top wise, once we get to this point where I'm going to be sat here, it's going to be a mess of air, so I don't need to bother too much about the air around the back, other than underneath will be, from the main part, will be big diffuser. Try and suck the back end down. So who am I? Who is the idiot trying to do this thing? So I am an engineer, but I am not a mechanical engineer. I'm an electronic engineer. But in some ways, no, I thought it at the time, in some ways I was quite lucky. So I did a technical apprenticeship with the MOD back in the distant days of the 1980s. And the first year on that apprenticeship, well, we spent half the year in college. But the bit we weren't in college is I actually did some workshop stuff. So I learned to weld, I learned to use lathes, learned to use a file. That was a really exciting bit. I'm taking this project on. I've done a lot of reading up. So this is part of a playlist thing. If you want to know everything in detail, go right back and watch the first video, and you'll see, you know, a lot of reading up and all that sort of thing. And I spent a lifetime interested in motorsport. You know, sort of lapped up the kind of Goodwood revival, and you know, I'm the bloke in the paddock peering around at the cars, trying to work out why they've got rose joints, why they've got wishbones, why the welding's like this, why this, that and the other. On that subject, and it's probably not unassociated, I spent 54 years of my life kind of knowing that I had some issues interacting with people, and only in the last couple of years did I finally dawn on me. Well, no, actually, tell it like it's probably about 5 years ago. It finally dawned on me that I was probably autistic and quite possibly ADHD. So a couple of years ago, I managed to finally get an assessment done, which confirmed I have both. The form of autism I've got, once upon a time, would have been called Asperger's. So it does affect me in certain ways, and one of the ways it affects me is it's doing this project. I strongly suspect that if I didn't have these, I'm not going to call them disabilities, some people will, I don't see them that way. I wouldn't take it away. I wouldn't change that aspect of my life. I'm not embarrassed by it. In fact, you know, I'd go as far as saying that if you've got any questions about it, how it affects me and all that kind of thing, please feel free to ask. You can put, you know, comments below, or my email address is on there. You can email me if you like. I'm quite happy. I'm quite open about it. I have no issues whatsoever talking about it. What it does mean is, say, for a project like this, is the autistic side of my brain. The two do kind of fight each other sometimes. The autistic side of my brain gets very obsessed. So this project has been in my mind for probably 2 years. Since really deciding I'm going to go for it, which was probably about July or August. I wouldn't say it's the only thing that's been on my mind, but a hell of a lot of my time is spent thinking over what I'm going to be doing out here, and the design. I'm very lucky, as with a lot of autistic people, is I can picture things in my mind in 3D and rotate them around. So this chassis has been in my mind for some time, and I've been able to rotate it around before I ever sat down with bits of paper and started drawing it all out, which you might be surprised to know what I've done. But basically this chassis has been in my head like this for quite some time. Anyway, so that's the autistic side of mine, which is quite good for planning and things. The ADHD side, I have to suppress quite a lot really doing this project, because I just want to do stuff, and it has lent to, you know, out here pieces of metal like this that are 5mm too short. So, you know, it's going to cost me a bit on this project, as it does with everything, because I tend to rush into things and sometimes make mistakes. Now I'm aware of that, and I try to compensate for it, and I try to measure twice, cut once. That's that. Oh, I hate that measure once, that saying. But anyway, so there we are. That's who I am. I hope that makes some kind of sense to you. and I hope if you're joining on with this project and watching that you enjoy it. Yeah, the reasons for the channel and the videos really, I'd say threefold. Firstly, there's already some people on board who are helping, they're asking really helpful questions or making good suggestions, which is great, really helpful. Please keep it going. The more people I can get on board like that, the better. The second reason is maybe to try and inspire other people who think, oh, it's just too difficult, too big a project, I couldn't do that. Give it a go. You know, just try. Like I say, better to try and fail than never to try at all. And thirdly, and it is, I'm saying it last, but it is one of the more important things, is I am trying to be a kind of an advocate for autistic and ADHD people. If you're like me and you've got them, hopefully you can see this and can see that you know, you're not limited. You can do what the hell you like. If you're not, which is the majority, you neurotypical people, hopefully you can see someone like me getting on and doing what I'm doing. I don't have two heads. I am normal. I'm normal to me. I wouldn't be great if you said, oh, why don't you come down the pub? Let's have a meet up and go down the pub with my 10 mates. No, I don't want to be there. I hate that. I can't understand what anyone's saying. It's noise. It's horrible. It's horrible. Don't like it. Go for a coffee with one person or two and have a chat about something specific, like this project or something else. Great. Anyway, so, oh yeah, and one of the other things is I tend to go off on tangents quite a lot as well. Another trait of ADHD. Anyway, so that's kind of why I'm doing these videos. And fourthly, it would be really nice to actually at least get a few pence back from YouTube, which is where you come into it. For me to get any money back from YouTube, I need to get more subscribers on the channel, and then obviously more people watch, and then YouTube pay me a couple of pennies from the advertising revenue. Also, I've just added this tip jar thing, so I'll try and do a drop down thing. So if you are watching this channel and you want to get involved a bit more, you want to help me out, you've got a couple of quid spare, please use the tip jar thing and just throw a couple of quid my way. Like I say, I'm on a kind of a 10k, trying to do this for 10k. It's going to be hellish tight, so a couple of quid here and there would be really helpful. So yeah, so that's why. That's who I am, why I'm doing these videos. This is supposed to be 5 minutes, and it's probably going to end up being 15 because I've waffled on again. Anyways, please share, please like, share, subscribe, do all those things. Bye. Has this channel given you any information that's been useful or just entertained you a bit? If so, and you can spare a couple of quid, please hit the link above to the tip jar, and all contributions will be much appreciated and will help keep the channel going. Thank you.